Good morning, class. This is grounding and bonding. Let me see your next course for the week. Grounding is very important. We have to ground everything we do. Just remember that. Ground it properly. Grounding requirements and applications. Okay, grounding and bonding, two different things. Electrical installations, you can bond. You have to bond metal parts around a pool. You can, but you have to ground the electrical panels. It's a little bit of difference between bonding and grounding. There you go. A grounding system protects life and equipment against electrical faults. So if you see here, a lot of if you see this panel, this is the main panel, it looks like, because all your grounding and neutrals are going to the same location. So this would be the main service entrance. This is service entrance cable. So that's what this is, a main service panel. You don't do that with sub panels. You gotta keep them separate because grounding is not a current carrying conductor, but neutral is. What's wrong with this picture? Obviously, the third prong, the grounding, the most important protective device. So here is showing you a grounding situation where you can have an equipment ground, or it's actually showing you when you have a wire, grounded wire, touches your hots, is going to cause a short circuit. If you have two hots touching each other, you're going to cause a short circuit. But when you get two hots, or A phase and a B phase, and they hit each other in the field, we call it bucking the phase, meaning you're hitting phases. And you have that a lot of times in a residential. You can have it in a commercial too with unexperienced electricians, people who never been to school, don't understand the situation, how a 3-wire system works, 4-wire system works. So be mindful of what you do. Now we just have a ground fault. So it's showing phase A hitting ground, phase B hitting ground, and ground always being to the equipment, always being connected, and it's bonded to the grounding. See, the transformer is grounded and this is bonded. It's a difference. Okay, we have our grounding system on our telephone poles. Here we got 7,200 primary conductor coming in. Feeds our transformer. Our transformer steps down to a lower voltage, 120/240. Our grounding system hits here, and you can see how it comes in, but then we have a ground wire that goes all the way down to the ground. A lot of times when I was in Mexico, I would see these people would cut that grounding wire because it was copper. I think they changed it from copper to some other type of grounding material, so people would stop stealing it. That's very important, that grounding. And here we go, same thing. It is showing you from you're going from 7,000 volts down to 120/240 through the transformer. Shows you how we have the leg A and leg B, obviously, and it's 240 in between, 120 between those, and how it's grounded to the case, but also has a grounded wire. It's very important. Might have some videos today for that. Yeah, here's just showing an example of the first page. That this is your main, so all your neutrals and grounds have to be tied together. same here. And then only at this location of their house you'll have that. And then also you'll have your ground rods that go directly to ground. But anywhere else in the home you will have a separate ground and neutral. Systems less than 50 volts must be grounded. You guys can get shocked at 50 volts easy. A lot of times people feel it. They feel 50 volts up to 70 volts. I've seen people get buckled. Like, I mean, their knees getting buckled by touching 60, 70 volts. It'll make you, you'll feel it for sure. I had a lady one day that she said that every time she took a shower, she had got into the shower, no problem. Then right before she got out of the shower, when she reached over to touch the keys, the knobs to turn off the shower, she would get shocked, and she said she would almost fall to the ground because it shocked her so hard. The reason what happened there was every time the tub filled up with water, when she first walked in, there was no problem. But when the tub filled up with water and it started to drain, the water draining to the ground had a backfeed. It had a bad. It wasn't grounded properly, so they had a hot wire touching the copper piping underneath, and through the plastic piping, it made a conduction through the water to her, to the metal parts. So she was feeling 70 volts. It was something else. I didn't believe it. I mean, I got my testers and leads and stuck it in the water and did the same scenario she did, and we got 70 volts out of it. That's why she was getting shocked. So we went underneath the house and grounded everything out to proper grounding, to ground rods, to make sure that any stray voltages went to ground and not to humans. Yeah, showing here some items that are not permitted to be grounded because of sparks and different. If a spark happens, you'll cause a fire. So a lot of things made out of copper. You see that in locations like you'll see copper hammers and stuff even in hazardous locations. I've seen this in the military, in their rooms where they carry their weapons. Alright, this is grounding. I'm going to try to give you guys some footage today on grounding, and hopefully make some sense to you. But remember, grounding is very important for us as electricians. You always, one tip is when you guys connect wires, you connect the ground first, the neutral second, the hot last. When you disconnect equipment, you disconnect the hot first, the neutral second, the ground last. You always, that's your sequence of installation and of equipment and taking equipment apart. All right, so when you install, ground first, neutral second, hot last. When you take away something, disassemble something, hot first, neutral second, ground last. Right? If you have any questions, comments, please let me know. I'm here to help you guys, guide you guys. Thank you so much.